Hello friends, my name is Habib. Today we're going to learn how to add polish to our full platformer game in Godot. So before I watch this video, make sure that you have watched my full platformer game in Godot tutorial, since this is where we're going to be continuing from. So first of all, open up Godot engine. Which one is our project? Which one's our project? Then click on plat. Double click on plat. Now you'll see it's going to open up our platformer project. It's going to open up our platformer game. Now this is good and all, but we're just going to add more polish to it, since currently it's pretty bland. So now the first thing we want to do is adding sound effects. Sound effects are very important to make your game feel satisfying. So open up your browser, Firefox, and search for SFXR, download. JSFXR. Now search for JSFXR and click on here, or just write sfxr.me. This JSFXR, it will allow you to create sound effects quickly and easily. Now we want sound effects for jumping, so click on jump. Reduce the volume. Now reduce the volume. Oh, that's good. Also play around with these values so that this is good. Now once you've done, from a link, copy from a link. So anyways, once you've done, creating your sound effect, click on this jump.wav, which is going to download the file for you. So now we also want to create we also want to create a sound effect for when if the player jumps on an enemy. Now we're going to create a sound effect for when the player picks up a coin. So click on pick up coin. Now this is good. Let me just set to here. Now click on here, which is going to download the WAV file for you. Now I'm going to use the hit/hurt for the sound effect when the player jumps on an enemy. So this is fine. I'm going to reduce the volume again. Now download the WAV file. What's this? This doesn't even work. This is. So anyways, now we've got the sound file. Let's see, do we need any more sound files? No, we don't. Now we've done creating all of our sound files. So open up your file manager, go to download, and then you're going to see the sound files. Control X, copy, Control X to cut it. Now go to documents, former, since that's what it's called. And now in Former, create a new folder called SFX, stands for sound effects. Control V, to paste it in there. Now if you go to Godot, you'll see a new folder called sound effects, which has all of our sound effects in it. Now go to player and create a new audio stream player. Which is going to play our sound. So now drag the sound, the jump sound, into here. Now we can play it. Now you see that we have our sound, yeah. Also go to jump. Now click on jump.wav and click on import. And now you will see all these. And now there is loop mode, disabled, we import. Now it is not going to loop. What this means is that it basically sets the loop. So if it's disabled, then it is not going to loop, since we don't want it to loop. I'm going to save this. But if we play our scene, you will see that the sound doesn't play. You want the sound to play when the player jumps. So it's not really cool. So now the player. Now you see we have all of these values. You can change the pitch, the volume. We can change if it's playing. You can change it though. Yeah. Now go to script. Go to the player scene. Go to scene and change this to jump. This is when the player jump. Then write if then input.is action request jumped. Then write $jump, which is going to get this node dot play. So what this does is that it plays the sound that is in here. If you want to get a node, like we want to get the label node, then write $label dot, and then we can set the values for it, like the text. So you can get the node for things by writing $, and then the node that we want to get. Like you can get this node, you just have to write $, and then the name of the node you want to get. I could get this collision shape 2D node, or this player area node, which is this. Yeah. Now we have the sound effects working. Now you see that the game feels much more immersive just by adding this. Coin.gd. Now go to the coin scene. Duplicate this audio streamer. Cut it, save, and then paste it in the coin scene. And rename this to coin. And then replace this jump.wav with a pickup coin.wav. Play. And now in this if arrow.name equals player, which basically checks if it starts whatever. Now in here we'll write $. Oh no, remove this to coin. So now if you want to get this node, stop it. The coin. No. Error here. $, this coin. What's wrong with this? There we go. Now I'm going to rename this to coin. Why is this always coin 2? Annoying. Whatever. Anyways, write $. And this is the node that we want to get. So we have to write $, and then the name of the node we want to get, which is this. So since its name is coin2, I'm going to write $coin2. Oh, now I see. The reason why this didn't work is because there's already a node named coin, and we cannot name two nodes the same thing. So I cannot name this coin since there's already a node named coin, so I can't name this coin. So I'm going to write coin_sfx, that's for coin_sound effects, coin_sfx.play. Jump. coin SFX. Import. Go to the import of coin SFX. I'm going to set loop mode to disabled. Re-import. Save. Coin.gd. Enemy. Wait, where's it? Coin. Oh, yeah. Import here. We'll write coin SFX. Playing equals true. So the reason why this isn't working is because, well, when I record this effects.play, well, yeah. So if I record this effects.play, this plays the sound effect, but this coin node gets deleted before the sound effect can play. So you have to delete the coin node if the sound effect is not playing. So right, if then $coin _SFX dot playing, we'll check if it's playing. If then not coin SFX dot playing, which means if the coin sound effect is not playing, then it's going to delete it. Yeah, but this doesn't really make much sense. A way that we can fix this problem is that instead of playing the coin sound effect here, instead we can play it in another scene. So I am going to cut this, place it in the player.gd. And write if then area.name equals coin, then it's going to play the sound effect. Now cut this coin SFX and then paste it in the player scene. Notice the enemy scene, then paste it in the player scene. Right click, work. Oh, stop it, stop. Isn't good. Right click. It just spread to Digo. There it is. Create a new audio stream player 2D, naming it coin _ SFX. And now drag this pickup coin.wav into here. Import loop mode disabled. Now if we play the scene, now you see that the sound effect plays. So when we collect the coin, pretty cool. Now lastly, we want a sound effect to play when an enemy gets destroyed. So create a new audio stream player 2D, naming it NM, first that's short for enemy. Go to hithertz.wav, disabled, reload. And now I'm going to drag this into the stream. So now I'm going to write if area.name equals coin. That means if it's touching anything with if this area 2D is touching any other area 2Ds with the name of enemy equals enemy. Then nm.play. Now you see that our game feels much more complete with sound effects. So now for this enemy, I'm going to add more enemies. I'm going to add more enemies. I'm going to add an enemy here. I'm going to add 2 enemies here. Ow. Ah! Don't stop. Now, you see that enemies can collide with each other, but I don't want it so that enemies can collide with each other. That is where collision layers come in. Now, what are collision layers, you may be asking? Well, go to project settings and then under layer names, write 2D physics. Collision layers allows one thing to collide with the other. I'm going to create a collision mask layer for the player, for the level, then for the enemy, and then lastly for the collectible. Collect. I'm just going to write it collects. Now close and save. Now you'll see that if we go to collision, we're able to see these. These are the collision layers. Collision layers is what it can collide with. So if 2 things have different collision layers, then they won't be able to collide with each other. But if they have the same collision layer, then they will. But this collision layer is what collision layer it is on. What is collision mask is what collision layer it can collide with. So if this player is on collision layer 1 and its mask is on collision layer 2, so that means it will be able to collide with collision layer 1, which is itself, and collision layer 2, which is the enemy collision, which is the level collision layer. So let's say I set the player's collision layer to 1, and then I set the enemy's collision layer to 2. So if I set the collision mask to 1, which is the player layer, then it won't be able to collide with the enemy, since the enemy's collision layer is 2. But if I set it to 2, then it will be able to collide with the enemy, since its collision layer is 2. So if I set this enemy's collision mask to, let's say, 2, then it won't be able to collide with the player, since its collision layer is 1. Yeah, you probably get it by now. So we don't want enemies to be able to collide with each other. I want the players to be able to collide with these, so I'm going to toggle all of their collision masks. Also, this collision mask number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, etc. Since I don't want enemies to be able to collide with each other, I want enemies to be able to collide with the level. So this is the enemy collision layer. So now the enemies won't be able to collide with each other. Now you see, the enemies just go through each other. They can't collide with each other. Pretty cool stuff, right? So anyways, I'm going to go to this node 2D, to this tile map, go to physics layers, and set it to the level layer. And I want the level to be able to collide with the player, the enemy, and itself. But I don't want it to be able to collide with collectibles. So now our game is much better. Sorry for that, the player just fell through the ground like that. Let's see what's wrong. Oh wait, there's the level collision layer. Oh, why isn't it working? Oh wait, let me go to tile set, paint, property editor, physics layer. Now let me go to terrain sets, collision. This is physics layer 0. Go to player collision layer, collision mask. Come on, player, don't just fall through it. I want you to be able to collide with the level. So anyways, I'm just going to select everything, paint. I'm going to delete this and then add a new physics layer element, physics layer 0. And I'm going to set the collision layer to 2. So anyways, then I'm going to paint it again. Paint. Oh. So it's collision layer to 1. There, I'm gonna tile map, tile set, save. So anyways, apart from that, what's this rubbish? Apart from that, now we're going to add particles to our game. Now particles, they just add more polish to your game, make your game better. I'm going to close this output. Now I want a particle for when the player jumps. So go to the player, create a new particle 2D, GPU particles 2D. Emitting is on, amount 8. Now, create a new process material, new particle process material, and now you're going to see a bunch of squares falling down. Now, this is the gravity of the particles. I don't want the particles to have any gravity, so I'm going to write 0. So now, if you zoom in very much, you're going to see one single rectangle. No, I don't want it to be rotated. Now, this initial velocity is the speed of it. So I can change the speed of the particles. Make it a bit slower. No, let me reload this. And now this direction is the direction in which the particles go. So I can increase the speed right of the direction and the flatness. And set it to 0. So now I could also increase the size by going to scale, and I can set the scale min and the scale max. 3 is 5. And I'm also going to increase the amount of particles to like 30. And then you can also set the explosiveness of the particles. This is great for creating things like explosions or jump animations. Drawing. And now you can also change the visibility, right? It is whatever. I'm also going to change how their lifetime. The lifetime is how long the particles can stay for. Initial velocity. Let me change it to something like 50. Pretty good. Now we have a simple jumping animation. There's also one shot. One shot will make the particle animation only, one shot will make the particle animation to run only once. So if I turn this on, you see that the particle animation runs only once and then never again. So I'm going to write jump underscore part stands for particle. So now if the player jumps, not only is it going to do this, the jump underscore part dot emitting equals true, which makes it to particle stick to actually do things. So you see that the particles, they're a little bit small for particles. Let's see. Let me turn off one shot and set the emitting to true. I don't want this. So let me remove this line of code I put. So now I'm going to make the particle. I'm going to make the particle 2D to be bigger, to be more bulbous. So I'm going to set the scale to 20. I'm going to set one shot to true. Now for here, I'm going to put, and also, so I'm also going to put jump underscore part dot restart, jump underscore part dot restart, which basically restarts the particle 2D. Now you see that we have a big puff of smoke when the player jumps. I'm also going to make this big puff of smoke. I'm going to remove one shot. I'm going to do this. I'm going to increase the velocity to 100 to be much faster. 200. And then this is the visibility rect. I can set the width of the visibility rect. Yeah, this visibility rect is basically the visibility of the particle 2D. 50. No, minus 100. Minus 50. What? Minus 100. I'll wait to reduce the width to something like 100. Minus 50. Save. Let's see how this will go. Let me also set one shot to on. That's only going to do it once. I also want to make the particles 2D to gradually fade away. So click on this, go to color now and create a color ramp. Create a texture 1D. It's going to now, what this does is that's going to transition from this color to this color. So I want it to transition from white to like no opacity. One shot on. Now you see that our jump animation has much more, definition. Now I'm also going to play it when, the player jumps on the enemy. So I'm going to write, no, please tell me nothing happened. I'm going to remove this output. Jump part dot restart and Ctrl C. And then it's going to do this, and then it's also going to play the jump part, particle animation. There we go, now we've done it. I'm also going to add particle to these for collecting the collectibles. So create a new particle 2D, naming it GPU particles 2D. Collect 30. and then create a process material, new particle process material. Click on this, and then increase the spread of the direction, increase the initial velocity. Yeah, it's kind of spazzing out like crazy. So I'm going to go to time and increase the explosiveness. And I'm going to also increase the size of these particles. Whoa, 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 whoa. And I'm also going to set, and this min is the minimum size it can be, while the max is the maximum size it can be. This is a bit too fast, so we'll go to 200, 200, 200, 100. Now I can also set the speed. The speed scale is how fast the particle 2D will be. I don't want it to have any gravity, so I'm going to set this to 0. And now what we can do is that we can assign an image to this particle 2D. Ordering material. So yeah. Now I'm also going to add a material to this. Go to here, and then you're going to see something called texture. Drag the coin image to here, coin.png, to this texture. Now it is the particle 2D. It's going to be this coin.png. I'm going to have to drastically reduce the size. It's too big. Now we have this. I have to reduce the size even more. Cool. And now the scale curve, it allows you to animate the scale. So now the scale is going to start from 1. Like I make it so that the scale will start from 1, and then it's going to end at 0. This looks much better. Now also go to where is it? I can't see it. Now also go to color and then add a color ramp, do gradient texture 1D. And also animate it so that it's going to start from white, and white in this case is just the normal color. The normal color is white. That is going to become more transparent. No, it's looking good already. Oh, where is it? Scale. So now save this, and now write if then area.same equals coin $collect dot play. Wait, no, I mean dot emitting equals true. I'm going to close this. I'm also going to set this one shot to on, so it's only going to play once. And also write $collect dot restart. I'm just going to restart it. Now you see that this is better. Better. Why is it playing it? There we go. Come on. I have to defeat these enemies. Now you see that the game feels much more satisfying to play. Just added all these two effects. Oh yeah, and the last thing I want to add is tweens. Tweens basically allow you to tween something. So now, when the player jumps, I want it so that the player will squash and stretch a little bit. So I'm going to write var t equals create underscore tween, which creates a tween. And I write tween property. Now I want to tween this player sprite so that it will squash and stretch a little bit. $player, which means it's going to tween the player. And now what it will tween So I'm going to write scale since I wanted to tween the scale of the player. And then vector 2. Vector 2 takes 2 points, the x and the y. In this case, it's just, the scale, the scale on the x-axis and the scale on the y-axis. So now first you have to check the scale of the player. The scale, go to transform, and now you see that the scale of the player is 0. So instead of this, just write var sc equals $player dot scale, which this is the player scale. So if we change the player scale and we want to set it to normal, then we can just use this variable. So it's vector 2 sc, and then the duration is going to be 0.5. So now if we play this, what? The global underscore scale. Anyway, yeah. Anyways, the way to fix it is just by just setting that writing auth on ready. What auth on ready means is that it is going to load this variable before anything else. It's going to load the variable when the player is ready. So where is this? I see now. So now if we jump, you see that nothing happens. That is because, the scale of the player is going to be normal when we tween it. So that's right, from. And that from is where it's going to start its stream from. Vector 2 sc minus vector 2. Vector 2. And now let's see the x-axis at sc plus vector 2. And now we want the player to be squashed on the x-axis, so minus 0.1, and then I want the player to be 0.1. Now you see that the player has this animation when he jumps, pretty satisfying. Now what this from does is that it begins the tween from this. So when the tween starts, it is going to be this, and then it slowly transitions to this. So now copy this and then paste it here. I'm going to play this. Now you see that has scorch stretch when it jumps on enemies. So anyways, that is it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel, ObaCode. Bye.